especially when things get dark, and things will get dark moving forward. Um, so the first idea is to do this thing called a phone bank, or when we do it in person, it's called a round robin. It's a little hard to think of that when you have to call 10 people. You're going to get the voicemail for 4 of them. 3 of them will pick up. 2 of them won't call you back at all, oddly enough. But it's this idea of touching with all of them, getting some touches in, not in a physical sense, but an emotional sense, an intellectual sense, a psychic sense with all of them. And the best way to do this is just to create a quick spreadsheet. You could handwrite it, you could type it up, 10 names, 10 phone numbers, 10 cell phone numbers, and 10 emails. And then a couple columns for check boxes, maybe some dates in the columns, you know, so you have, if you do this once a quarter, it would be January, April, July, October, right? And so every quarter, you're going to call all 10 of them, or at least attempt to call all 10, and have a little chat. And the reason it's important that you do this separately, you're going to see them in monthly meetings, but it's important to do it separately because that's when the relationship gets built. The personal relationship does not get built in the group meetings. The call itself doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be about substantive issues. It can just be you and the other person connecting on the phone. And if you had checked 4 times during the year, that's 4 more times that you had a chance to get like this with them, you know, and not like this, which is what you're going to see sometimes when they vote against you. So it's really a good habit to get into. So it's called the phone bank. Another technique that you can use is called, back in the old days, we called it a clipping service. And we called it that because there was no such thing as Google, no search engines, no internet at all. So if you saw an article on something that somebody might be interested, this is from a newspaper, Samantha, newspaper. It's a printed publication that you can get delivered to your house. And so what I do sometimes, this one's all marked, I got one here, it's all marked up. This one. And what I do is I mark it up for myself for research or for a speech or something, but I could also mark it up and send it to Samantha because Samantha would be interested in this topic. Now, in the old days, you'd have to find a stamp and an envelope and the person's address, and you actually mail it through something called the United States Post Office, Samantha. That's the the National Postal Service. Nobody uses that anymore either. So we do is take a picture of the article now, if it's a physical article, and you send it, text it to them. But even better than that is you're online and you find the link, and then you drop the link into an email. Although some would argue that the email is less likely to get read than the text. Now, if it's a big article like this, it's hard to read online. I might do the email just because it's easier to read on the computer. So I think about this probably more than the average person. The point is, whether the other person reads the damn article or not, they will know that you thought of them on this topic and sent them the article, and nobody does this anymore. And it's a very, very thoughtful thing to do, especially if it's something that they're interested in. You actually get extra points if it's non-business related. So you run a dental clinic, but you know they love wine, and there's a new line of Malbecs out, and you know they're red wine. They love red wine, and so you find the link online. You send them the link for the new line of Malbec, and they go, "Wow, this lady's on the ball." So you can see how this could come back to you. And you don't do it for points or anything, but you will get points. And you don't do it because you want them to physically thank you, although they will. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. You're looking out for your peeps. And it's a really simple thing to do. And once you get in the habit of it, it can't stop. Like I said, I got articles all over the place that I send to people. Okay.